What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Self-Aware Savage, and here we don't just talk surface level. We get into the deep intricacies of the mind to understand how our decision making either hinders or benefits our life, okay? If that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that like button, make sure to subscribe button, but let's get right into it. So for today's video, we're gonna talk about the unspoken truth of not having kids after 30, okay? Because I be seeing on social media the people be like, oh man, they ain't got no kids after 30, big red flags. They don't have no discipline. They don't want no responsibility and all this other stuff. But I feel like society needs to hear from people who don't have kids above 30 and the reasoning for that decision making that has led to this point, okay? So let's start this video with a quick personal reflection. I definitely, when I was younger, thought I was gonna have kids by the time I got into my late 20s, early 30s, right? I was probably just like everybody else. You thought you were gonna meet your person, y'all was gonna start building, have your family and all these other things, right? But just as time passed, right? And you're making decisions and you're learning life and you're living, I personally felt for myself that I was not at a place to have kids, okay? And I go by my own standard within life because I've said these same lines to other people and they're quick to always be like, no, well, you make enough to have kids. You definitely be able to support a family, because they're going off just of what society's standard is to people popping out kids versus my own standard to being able to have kids, right? And then even on top of that, I've waited this long. So like, I'm just not gonna randomly have unprotected sex with somebody and just get them pregnant and just see how it goes, right? I mean, God, like that's always been my one rule. I was just like, listen, dude, you waited this long, let's at least not slip up now. You feel me? And so like, those are just my two quick personal thoughts on it before we start really deep diving this, all right? Now, you know we can't get too far in this video without talking about societal expectations, right? Now, this one is pretty split because I would say you got the people who still got like the 20-year ago mindset where they're like, oh my God, you're over 30 with no kids. And then you have more the newer generation who everyone understands. They're like, no kids, super smart choice unless you are financially where you want to be, mentally where you want to be and everything, because it is a huge responsibility, okay? So I would definitely tell everybody, especially if you're in your 30s and you're watching this, or if you're younger and you're thinking about it, yeah, your parents might have a certain mindset because they're 2 generations back, but nowadays, like, it makes total sense to avoid having kids until you feel like you are in a great place to be able to take care of them, right? I was always the type of person that I just didn't want to skate by. And let me always acknowledge my mom. My mom took care of me and all my brothers on her own. So I watched a strong Black woman support us, take care of us, and like make it happen, right? But on the other end, I also know now that I'm older and I can look back on it, that there was just certain things that we couldn't do or get involved in because she was taking care of everything on her own, right? Our financial situation wasn't of the middle high class, you know what I mean? And so, but she still made it happen. So I'm not knocking anything. I mean, I've turned out pretty good. I say so myself. So she did her thing. And so, but I always just looking at my future and looking at my kids, I wanted to be able to make sure I also can provide more for them. But could I provide them the life that I wanted to at this exact moment? I cannot. And so when it comes to just society's expectations, I would say they was split, but I would also say, please, please, please don't fall victim to that. Now, you know we can't get too far in this video without talking about the benefits of a child-free life, okay? Now, we all know that 5% that get posted on social media about their first walk, that laugh when they graduate school and all these other things. Oh my God, it's so fun, it's so magnificent. When you in person and you playing with someone's kid and they're laughing and they're joking and it's just all good times, warms your heart. Oh my God, that's so lovely. But nobody talks about the 95% that no one gets to see. You feel me? When that camera's off and no one's watching, that grind, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual grind that it takes to take care of a kid. I personally can't take that on right now, just being honest. I absolutely love being able to wake up every day and just do me. If I think of an idea, I can just execute on it no matter what the financial cost is, because it's only gonna impact myself and my future self at this exact moment, right? I love being able to just plan trips and just go on them, hit up friends, be like, hey, do you wanna hit this activity or this event? And they're like, yeah, and I don't have to worry about, oh, do I have a babysitter? Oh, can family watch him and all these things? And by the way, I don't have any family in LA, so I'm all by myself anyway, so I would probably be stuck in the house having to watch the baby. I just love my freedom. And at this exact moment in life, while I am trying to build myself up, I am not going to give up my freedom. And I am perfectly fine with that. And I think a lot of people, for themselves, you got to get to that place while you don't have kids to be perfectly fine with the way you're able to live your life right now, because it's probably not going to be like this forever, especially if you plan on having kids in the future. Now, one of the challenges that I will talk about is, as a man, when you get older, you tend to date a lot more slower than what you used to do like when you were younger. Usually it's because your market value is increasing, and what I mean by that is that your financial capital is starting to increase, and so you don't make decisions as loosely as you used to. And when you're talking to people, you're actually potentially seeing, like, can I see myself with this person forever? And is this person suitable to be able to have a child with? Because they're like kind of the same, but then they could be two different things. So you're trying to observe all aspects of a person's personality, and you can't figure this out in 3 months, right? It takes time. And so I would say that is probably one of the biggest challenges, is that if you aren't talking to someone right now that you see yourself potentially building a future with, you could start to ask yourself, like, well, dag, I don't waited this long. I don't want to just have sex with somebody and get them pregnant and end up having a child with them just because I want to have kids. And so that could get a little shaky, right? So in conclusion, I'm gonna say this: not having kids while over 30 is definitely not a bad thing, especially since you get to keep your freedom, continually build up your financial capital, and kind of live life on your own means at this exact moment. But if you are like me and plan on having kids in the future, like you do want to have a family, you do need to be aware of the point that you are getting older. And I know men can pop out kids however old they are, but like, you do still, well, I know I just don't want to have my first kid at 50, you know what I mean? And so like, I think you do got to be aware, if you are still dating around or just sleeping around with random people, that like, you got to get focused on trying to find that person, or having that person gravitate into your life based on your own energy that you can build with and potentially have a family with. All right, so with that being said, man, if y'all enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, comment your thoughts, right? Are you above 30 with no kids? You feel me? And you got similar thoughts, or you got different thoughts, or you've been feeling the pressure? I would love to hear about it, man. Hit that subscribe button, and I shall see everybody at the top.